it's Dustin with TWPD. Today we're going to be fixing a Stylo 4 and basically taking this broken screen off, okay? Now, we're also in the video going to demonstrate how to glue this screen that is now on here onto here, okay? And literally seal it up. Now, if you've ordered glass LCD and frame, we're going to show you how to do that as well by removing all these components inside the phone. So you're going to see both methods and the ups and downs between both methods. You know, it could be either or. So I'd recommend replacing just the glass and LCD. You do need a little bit more skill and tools, but it is easier and cheaper. But if you can replace the frame and you're confident in this, then this is going to be the best repair because the strength of replacing the frame is going to increase its life. So if it has a big ding in it, you definitely want to replace that frame. If you don't feel comfortable doing this type of repair after watching it, you can always mail it in to us, or we could potentially recommend a local company for you. Also, we're going to demonstrate how to replace the volume buttons and power buttons, ear speaker, front camera, battery, vibrator motor, charge port, loudspeaker, headphone jack. All that stuff is replaceable and is shown in this video on how to do that. All the parts are going to be in the link in the description below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. It's Dustin with TWPD. A little quick commercial break. We got a product called Liquid Glass that can cover your phone against $400 in damages or even $150 against damages. It's super cheap and it's good for a whole year with no deductible. I'm going to have a link in the description below describing the whole product and how the whole process works in a separate video. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video. Today we are going to be fixing a Stylo 4, and I finally got a 2-camera setup, which is as an absolute nightmare to do. So the first things first that you're going to do is go ahead and turn off your phone. So we got the phone completely turned off here, and now we are going to work on the phone. So you're going to need to get a heat gun or a hot plate, and you're going to get this warm to the touch on the back because this is plastic, not hot to the touch. And this should be fairly easy. You don't technically need a heat gun, but it does help out remove the glue. You're going to need to get the iFlex tool. And all these parts and everything that you're going to see here, tools, all going to be linked in the description below. But you'll have to find the parts and the tools. So the iFlex is the way to go. So remember, just warm to the touch. I'm using heat resistant gloves right now. And we're just going to start cutting right into the... Oh, she still has plastic on the back of this. Just slicing right in. Looking good. So you don't want to go too deep on this because you don't want to slice some internal cables here that you'll see here in a second. Now that we sliced the adhesive, you're going to get a little bit more sturdier tool called the iseasmo. And then we're just going to twist up. With a little force, mind you. Okay, so the phone turned back on. That's okay. We're going to turn it back off here in a second. So you can just put a new slice of adhesive down. You can save the adhesive that comes with it, or we can put some new adhesive down. So you can see nice little thin line of adhesive. Try to save it. If not, then you can put some new stuff down. This is just going to be tested tape to replace that. Alright, so the next step is to turn it off, but obviously we can't because now the back is off and we don't want to re-glue the back on. So we're going to unplug it from inside once we remove the screws. So we're going to get, actually let's not use my really fancy screwdriver today. That's my Wow stick. It's an electronic screwdriver. I just got a new screwdriver in stock today, and it is already missing. So these tools are available as well. It's the TWPD. Once again, you can look this up in the link in the description. It's a pretty fine point. I do like the iThors a little bit better, but I still have not got my Phillips iThor in. As you can see here, it is a really unique bit. So it comes straight and then just the bit comes out versus something like this. So we're going to go ahead and remove all these screws one at a time. And if you're not magnetized, you can buy a small little magnetizer and just rotate it around. So just pressure down and then rotate fast. And screws come right out. Not having a magnetizer is going to make your life very difficult. So make sure you magnetize your tools. It's not going to harm the phone or hurt it in any way. Now all these screws are the same size, so it doesn't really matter where we put it on the bench over here. So yeah, no need to organize, but sometimes you do need to organize. We have, you know, all these little screw holes that we could put in if we needed to. This is the only one that's different. So you just set that aside with this little piece that's coming out right now. So we're just going to take our iseasmo tool here and just be able to pop these clips off. Make sure you do not touch the motherboard. You don't want to scrape it. Now you can use, if you're worried, like a spudger, a plastic one, and it's less likely to damage components as long as you don't use a lot of force. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery. And now we don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, good. So we're going to disconnect some other cables here. This is the, I do believe, the charge port. This is the LCD cable here. And front camera. Let's see if we got anything else. Oh, yes. And you need your SIM card tool to pop out your SIM card. Just rotate it around so they don't fall out and just set it down. Okay. Now we're going to pop out the motherboard. Should come out fairly easy without any resistance. If it's giving you resistance, we might be forgetting something. Let's give me a little resistance here. There we go. Okay. Comes out nice and easy. Alright, so you can buy in two options here. You can go online and buy all these components, or excuse me, you can buy the full LCD frame, but it will not come with all these components. This is actually pulled from original phone. This is the easiest way to do it, is just to transfer the motherboard and call it good. So I'm going to show you how to not only take out all the components and be able to transfer it over to the new one. So we're just going to take it all out and then transfer it back into this, but it would be the same scenario as this. But I'm also going to show you how to install this LCD today as well as an alternative. Okay, so yes, I could literally just put this motherboard in and seal it up and call it a short video, but I want to show you guys exactly how it's going to be done. So let's say that you're an amateur at home and you want to take out the battery. Okay, so the best way to do this without damaging the battery is that we're going to warm it up right in this area. But you have other components to take out, so go ahead and warm it up the whole way. We're doing good? So we're just going to get it nice and warm to the touch. Well, hot to the touch, I would say. We're not concerned about the screen yet. We're not going to remove it quite yet, because I want to show you how to do it with the frame transfer. So with the frame, which is sold on the actual website there, is stronger it's better to replace it with the frame, because you're going to have a stronger phone by doing that. And it's just better quality overall. But it can be a little bit more challenging, so it's not for everybody. Okay, let's see if this battery wants to come up now. Now you don't want to puncture this battery. So let's remember that you have a nice blunt object like this iseasmo tool. Just going to go back and forth here and try not to bend it too much. LG really sealed these up very well here. Okay, so now that we got the battery out carefully, you see all that tape? It's quite challenging to remove. But now that we got it removed, now most of our phone is still warm. You might need to warm it up as you go, but some of these components will start coming out. So this is titanium tweezers here. But any good tweezers that can get in between these components will work as well. So we're going to remove this piece here. And slowly remove this piece up here. This whole component thing actually might just come up, thinking about it. It's really glued on. So I just get in between this piece here and twist this up, and it comes right out. But try pulling this out as well while you're doing this. So this has to be removed, but not this piece when replacing the screen here, if you were just to do screen only. But today, like I said, I'm going to show you with the frame, and then we'll show you the screen. And remember, you want your phone nice and warm still to be able to remove these components. If they're giving you trouble, then you want to warm it back up. Got some kids yelling in the background. Trying to figure out the best way to get this removed. Oh, okay. Looks like we can just remove just this whole entire piece. It can be transferred over. And then just poke right through the frame to remove the home button, and then you got to transfer this piece back in there. Okay? We'll show you here in a second how to do that. So if you want a strong phone, you want to replace the frame. If you want a little bit a weaker phone and cheaper price, you're going to replace the screen only. So if you're going to replace the screen only, you don't need to watch any of this. You can just pretty much fast forward, you know, all this small component transfers that I'm doing here. There we go. We got how to get underneath there. So go ahead and pop out the buttons again. Looks like one stayed intact and one didn't. So, oh, you know what? They both. So this is volume down. This is volume up. It could be the same thing. It could not be. Maybe. Those are very jumpy. All right, so if you were to have a full frame like this, you'd have to transfer all the components in. Okay, so we're not going to do that yet. We're going to show you how to replace the screen. Remember, you need to remove this assembly only to replace the screen. The battery can remain as long as you don't get it too hot. Okay, so the rest of these components, you want to skip ahead past the screen replacement part. Okay, so if you've got the frame, skip this next part, what we're about to do. So, if you got just the screen, okay, and you wanted to save a little bit of money on your repair, that's understandable. We're going to go ahead and lift this piece up here. And now we're going to warm up that entire screen here, and we're going to start separating it. I should have moved these in the first place out of the way, but I didn't. Okay, so just back and forth, warming up the screen here. And you're going to try to get it hot to the touch, guys. So if it starts turning yellow, that's pretty much, you know that the screen is hot enough. Remember, you don't want to overheat it because you can definitely blow up that battery. But getting it nice and hot to the touch will be perfect. You're going to just run your heat gun on high for about 30 seconds. And make sure you have some heat resistant gloves. This is going to really protect your skin from burning, and life will be miserable if you are burning yourself. Okay, so we're going to just slice down between the glass and the plastic. And we're going to unglue this screen off, because it is very glued on. This is quite a challenge to remove this and to put one on. And I'd almost say that it's easier to replace it with the frame. It's very glued on even with all that heat I used. And I'm using a ton of pressure here. Just trying to get it loose off the frame. Careful not to slice yourself. We're just doing a sawing motion upward, so that way we don't break the frame. Switching between tools, just trying to get underneath that backlight cover there. Now, replacing glass only on this is near impossible due to how it's glued down, and it's not really worth it. The part is not that expensive. So the challenges of replacing glass only is only for pros, and I do not recommend it at all unless you're trying to scrape up for dollars. Okay, so we're just trying to remove that ear speaker there so we can transfer it over to the new screen. And now we just got to scrape off all this old glue. Be careful of this sensor here. Make sure it stays on there. Come on. Wow. Piece of glass did not want to remove. A lot of times my customers speak in the film. What do you think so far?
That's a lot of little pieces of broken glass.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is easier, doing the glass replacement or frame and glass replacement, like I was explaining?
Obviously, the frame and glass is going to be a lot quicker and easier.
You think so? Look at all these little challenging things that you have to move over. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The annoying thing about the glass replacement is that there's all those, like I said, there's just very tiny pieces. So I guess depending on how broken your screen is.
It's also like a $20 save to buy glass and LCD only. So customers are usually interested. Oop, piece of glass. Careful, don't to step on it.
It's all good. I'll just shred my feet up a little later.
I can't wait to see how my editor turns out with these two camera equipment.
So, how frequently or how easy it is to I know you talked about not scraping the motherboard, but how easy is it to destroy some of these other little sensors and pieces you're
Very easy.
pulling off?
That's why I recommend doing this, because destroying these other sensors are so much easier. So with this, you don't have to remove any sensors except for the charge port. You got to move the charge port out of your way. That's it. But these other ones are very easy to destroy and hard to remove. I'd only recommend it for a professional.
Yeah.
But I mean, an amateur could do it at home, and that's the whole point of this video.
Yeah. So if you're doing it at home, you want to minimize your risk, so you just remove fewer pieces.
Yeah. Okay, so in order to test the new screen here, before doing all this, preferably, you would disconnect that cable and then plug this unit in, flip it around, turn on the unit. Now, how you turn it on is you would run the cable underneath here, right, and then hold this down to turn on your phone. Make sure you'd have the battery in and all that. You highly, highly should do that, and I'm not going to do it today because I forgot. But make sure you test your screen before installing, because if you don't, then, well, you could have a glued-on screen that you cannot remove without cracking and breaking it. Now, this is another reason why I highly recommend buying from us than Amazon, because Amazon, they have a higher defect rate. We have a much lower defect rate with our parts, and you're going to have that guarantee as well. Okay, so you can get some T7000. Once again, I sell that and it's available. It's a little bit slower drying, but it acts just very similar to super glue. Okay, you could do T8000 and then bond it a little slower. You can also do B7000, but my bottle broke, so I need a new one. If you're at home, you can use the super glue gel or Gorilla Glue. Remember, Gorilla Glue, you're going to need clamping pressure. It's going to take longer. Super glue is super risky, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, it's not going to be fine tip like this. And you're going to have to put a little bit on here and spread it around as quickly as you can. Then put the screen on. So I don't recommend you doing that whatsoever.
Can you apply it to the screen and instead of the chassis, or would you just only...
No, I would not, because if you apply it to the screen here, there's a very high chance that you can get some glue in the bonding area, and you don't want that. Now, if you use the B7000 or the super glue at home, it's going to leave a white residue, and the reason why I like the T7000 is because it's a black adhesive. It's pretty unique. Okay, I'm just trying to get some of this glass residue off my table here. Okay, so we're going to first put the headphone jack, or not the headphone jack, earpiece, back on the unit. Just trying to see which way it goes. I don't know why I put these up. So right now I'm just discovering which direction this goes in. It looks like that direction. So what we want to do is glue it down this direction here. Now you can test your screen by just touching it everywhere. By the way, I told you guys to test it that way, so make sure you do it. Just trying to wipe off the glue here. Okay, now that we got our glue head clean. She's just going to put a tiny tad on the frame right here. That's it, right? That's all you need. And then you can put your ear speaker back on. You want to do this before anything else. So I'm just putting a little bit of pressure in the ear speaker and letting that glue down there for a second. Just leave that alone. Okay, now we're ready to put glue down, but do a final check over and run your fingers across, and if you get cut, then you still have glass in here. Remember, if your frame is damaged too heavily, I don't recommend putting a new screen in here, but this gentleman, he had his phone in a case, it looks like, so it's fine. So this is a perfect candidate for glass replacement with LCD. So just a fine line here. That showing up on the video good?
Mm-hmm. You're right where you need to be.
Even way over here?
Yep. You're towards the edge of the frame right there.
Let's move over a little bit. Any glue that you get on the outside, you can wipe it off. Any glue you get on the inside, make sure you clean that up first.
Alright, you're about to move off frame.
Okay, now that we got the edges, just a little bit heavier in the middle.
How thick of a bead should you be laying down here?
A what?
A bead of glue should you be laying down here?
A bead of glue I should be laying down.
How thick of a bead?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not needs to be a bead at all, actually. It just needs to be a thin coat. You're asking good questions. This is some of the questions my YouTube channel asked me.
So you're basically smearing it. You're not getting any kind of...
Yep, we're just smearing it. We do have a little bit of beading up a little bit, and it's fine. It's not too bad. You definitely don't want Gorilla Glue to bead up, though.
Yeah.
So, but nice and fine. I got about 3 minutes to put this down and put my screen on, and I've lost my lid. There it is.
You bias more towards less or more? Yeah. Do you bias towards less or more glue?
Less. Less is better. Bias. I was like trying to understand what you were saying there a second. Using big words Dustin doesn't use.
Sorry.
I'm a tech, not an English scholar, sir. Scientist like yourself.
Well.
Okay, so we're just going to put this under some pressure for a second. And we're going to hold that down for about, I'd say 30 seconds. If you removed all the glass and everything, this pressure is not going to hurt it. If you don't, you'll hear a nice crack and your screen will be broken. So that's the only downfall for doing this way, is that you can potentially crack your brand new screen. So you don't want to do that. Just make sure that's super clean. You can even take an air compressor and try to blow out any excess glass outside or whatever you want into the garbage can. So we're going to check and see if we're satisfied with that and make sure it's sitting nice and flush. It looks like it is. It's not spongy. It's sitting on there perfectly. Okay, now we're going to remove any excess glue while it's still slightly soft. And then if you got some glue on the screen, I mean, don't worry about it. Just you'll have to take some acetone and wipe it down. Okay, so now that you've replaced the screen, all your components should be in here except for this piece right here. So all you have to do is put your charge port and loudspeaker back in, clipped in, and then you're going to skip ahead to the point where I already have all the components in. Now for the individuals who are doing a frame replacement, you should have a device that looks basically like this, without the charge dock in it. I'm going to leave it in, okay? And you're going to put all your transferred components back into here. And so that's what we're going to do right now, is go ahead and transfer all these little components. So you might find this oxymoron to pour all this together and put it all to, tear it all out and put it all back together. That's because, like I said, I am showing you guys how to do both ways of fixing this device. So make sure you put these pieces in here first before putting in the other pieces. Actually, you know what? We might be able to. Let's put this down first. Now let's put this piece in here.
Do you ever forget to put pieces in?
Yes, all the time. Very irritating to forget pieces. Okay, so we've got that little piece in there. And let's see here. Looks like this goes only... No, it goes either way.
These are the buttons?
These are the buttons. Okay, we got a nice click. I can hear it click. So the best way to do this is to put these components in first and then the other pieces to it. Now, if this is not sitting down for any reason, you can use some Tessa tape to put this down a little bit better. All right. So the smaller wire piece hangs out and the bigger white piece goes inward. If you can see the difference. If you can't see the difference, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. I might have stuck that in a little too deep. We'll find out here in 1 second. I did. But I can push it back out. There we go. Okay, good. Just pushing it in right here. A little spongy. And then, oh, it's moving out. Let's try to fix it. Okay, now, if I push on it, this whole entire thing comes out this way, but once the motherboard's there, it's going to click just fine. So if you hold it down, you can feel it click, and then just leave it alone until you get the motherboard in there, because this piece right here is going to hold it all together. So not a problem, guys. Now, I'm always a debater about putting camera in first and sometimes after. I believe that this is one of those phones that you got to put it in first before putting down the motherboard. Just depends on what phone you're working on. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the headphone jack in. And let's see here. That's it. Okay, so now that we're both back onto this part where everything is assembled and everything's in the phone, now we can put the battery back in. And then you're ready to assemble the phone. Just like that, guys. So now we can put the motherboard back in. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put everything back in. Motherboard and all. And this has to go underneath this frame here. It's giving me a little bit of...
So there's a little lip there you're getting it under?
Yeah, just a little bit. And it's fighting me too.
How easy is it to destroy the motherboard here?
Not very easy.
Okay.
As long as you're using this, it's really helpful for the anti-static.
The PCB board's not going to break very easily.
And if you do break it, the PCB board's only like $50. Because this is a more cheaper phone. Okay, now we can actually test our work here. Everything wants to sit down properly, yeah? Okay, good. Where's my... There it is. Okay, put this in first. And then we can put that on real quick and test it. We don't want to sit it completely down. I kind of wonder if this is charged. Probably not.
I don't think you... Is that back one?
Oh, that's not even the power button.
Yeah, that's just the fingerprint.
You know what? I get confused from other ones.
I know.
Yeah, power buttons can be on the side on this phone. So you could have tested it without having this all clipped in there. So you just test it, make sure your screen works, your touch works, everything, and turn it off within, I'd say, about... Stupid rag's pulling up. I turn it off within about 30 seconds if it's not screwed down. So make sure you screw it down. We go ahead and use my WOW stick for speed, because this video is already taking too long.
How much does one of those things cost?
$50. I don't recommend it for amateurs because you can strip stuff.
It doesn't have an automatic brake on it?
Mm-mm. And don't forget to plug your SIM cards in like I did. Oops. Make sure you're... Oh yeah, battery's dead. That's just lovely. We can test it later. I know this works because this is one of my OEM pulls. Yeah, if you guys were wondering, like, oh, you switch phones? Kinda. So, this is the refurbished one. This is just one pulled from original. And I promised the customer he could have the original one. The other one, refurbished one, was I'm saving for the video to teach you guys how to refurbish your own. Sometimes we get phones that have bad motherboards in them for different reasons. And we tear them apart for their parts. And so that's what they're getting.
You already put in the different screw?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the second or third screw I did. I don't usually go all out like this on videos, but today I decided to go all out and really show you different ways to fix these phones here. So we're just checking and making sure that all the screws are in and that all the clips are in, which is all critical. And as you can see here, my phone does not have any leftover adhesive like this one does. Okay, so let's say that your adhesive was falling apart and pulling up, then we need to apply some adhesive. Okay, so now that we have some Tessa tape, once again, you can find this on the link below. All these parts, all these tools, link below. So we're gonna go ahead and just lay down a strip of Tessa. This is about a 1 millimeter tape. They do make 0.5 millimeters and 2 millimeters and all kinds of different sizes. This roll should only cost less than $10. It won't cost very much.
How do you gauge what size tape you put down?
Well, you just kind of know. Watch the instructional video.
Is it based on like the space in the frame?
Yeah, exactly. This one's 1 millimeter. And I've done a few of these.
So it'd be different for each one.
Yep. So today we have, well, not this, yeah, so if it's a different kind of phone, it's different, but all Stylo 4s would be 1 millimeter for this. Anyway, so today we learned that you can replace any of these components. So if you have an ear speaker issue, you knew where that was. It was up front, up top here. If you need to replace your headphone jack, it was right here. If you needed to replace your charge port, all that can be possible with this video. So I'll show you again. Battery replacement, I showed you how to do that. But be careful if you're just replacing battery only that you do not warm up your screen too much and damage it. Your vibration motor is right here. Ear speaker, front camera. all your buttons that I showed you how to remove, same with your headphone jack, and your charge port and your loudspeaker can all be replaced with this video. It's okay if it comes up a little bit. It is heat activated double-sided tape. So what we're going to do here, this doesn't have any plastic on the front to protect it. So I want to do it on a nice clean surface. That's why I was working with this.
Especially since we have those little shards of glass.
Yeah. You go dump that in the garbage. So let's go ahead and remove this plastic so that way we don't melt it on any further. I take the heat gun and then blast it on. Remember, just warm to the touch. That's going to be enough to activate that adhesive. And then I'll show you guys it's working here once we get a little bit of a charge on it. Okay, so we're just turning the phone on so we can actually test it and make sure everything is fully functioning. Okay, so then we're just going to touch and make sure that the touch screen works everywhere. You can go into the app drawer and do this as well. And then you can also open up Google slowly. Okay. And then we'll be able to touch everywhere on the keyboard. So it looks like all the touch works, and it's a perfectly good functioning screen. Okay, so this part of the video, I'm going to be demonstrating liquid glass real quick. If you're doing this yourself, you can buy liquid glass, which will cover $150 against damages, or $400 if you get the $400 one. The link in the description below if you want to purchase these online and have it shipped to your house. It's an insurance company that will actually cover it. It's called Insured Gadgets, and the broker is called Cell Brokers. Okay? Now, this liquid glass is an invisible nano coating that is going to strengthen their phone at the nano level. It's good for back and front glass. This only has front glass, the back is plastic, so don't put it on the back. There's no point. If you do this repair yourself at home, okay, you're only going to spend maybe $50 in parts at the most, okay? So it's probably not worth getting this. If you were like, hey, I want to find a local guy and I want one of these on my phone after they did it and they're not selling it, guess what? You can order it from us and be able to cover your phone against damages so you don't have to pay. You could take this to any repair company worldwide, you save your receipt, and they reimburse you. It's pretty easy. The reimbursement takes usually about 2 weeks. Now, if you're a shop owner, please watch the video in the link below in the description. It teaches you how to apply it and how to buy it and all that stuff. You guys can buy this wholesale and sell it to your customers if you're interested. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and open this up because they chose the $150 one. It's going to come with a few things. Alcohol pad, which my phone's already clean. Microfiber cloth, that's for cleaning as well. And then you got the liquid glass screen protector. So we're going to go ahead and apply that because our screen is already clean thanks to my microfiber cloth skills. The phone or the rag is already coated in the liquid glass, so you just rub it on. If you have a watch, you can go ahead and put it on right now. If you don't, then that's it. Once this dries out, then you have no more liquid glass. Okay, so now that we applied it, we're going to wait 10 minutes to start hazing up, and then we're going to go ahead and scrub this off with this, or you can use this if you haven't used it yet. So we're going to wait that 10 minutes and then come back to it.
A few minutes later.
Now that 10 minutes has passed, we're going to go ahead and just scrub it off. So it's going to leave that hazing effect for about 24 hours for the cure time. So not a problem. So remember, this strengthens it at the nano level. If you're interested in the product, like I said, the link is in the description. And if you're interested on exactly how the whole restoration process works, there's going to be another YouTube video explaining how this process works. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe. If you see something wrong in this video, let me know what I've done wrong, and we'll try to remedy it and fix it with a new video. Thanks again. Have a good one.